Welcome to the CrackOn podcast, hosted by me, John Saunders. Crack on! Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the CrackOn podcast, hosted by myself, John Saunders. So, Series 3, Episode 6. What a guest I have today. So, Rayner Davies. So, she's the Managing Director and Co-Founder of A&R Cleaning and Security Services. Just a whirlwind. Her story is amazing, fantastic place where she's at now, but really had quite a tough time to start. So really good, just an inspirational journey. Great businesswoman, an inspiration. Hope you enjoy. Crack on. Good morning, Rayner. How are you?
Good morning, John. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really well. Thank you. Really well. Thanks ever so much for coming on the Crack On podcast.
It's okay. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. We'll see how we get on at the end. See if you're thanking me at the end.
Oh, thanks.
No. I'm joking.
How do I leave?
Yeah. You'll be fine. I'll be tame. So the first question I ask everyone: what does crack on mean to you?
I think for me, it's just a case of just getting up every day and doing what you not only do best, but what you love to do. So I think you have to be passionate about what you are really cracking on about. And no matter what hurdles or diversity you hit or face in front of you, you just got to keep going. Otherwise, it's so easy to throw the towel in and walk away. But yeah, just got to keep going. Just keep going. Get over the hurdles. Get over the barriers, and don't take no for an answer.
Give us an example of one of those barriers then, because obviously, you've been in the current business for like over 11 years. There must have been some ups and downs with that. So is there any time specifically you can remember that you just thought, oh no, it's all crumbling round me?
How long have we got?
We've got plenty of time.
I think one of the sort of moments that stick with me was when we were a lot more domesticated. So we used to provide domestic cleaning. Yeah. And we were a team of about 20 or 30 staff. Wow. Quite a few years ago. And me and Ashley was due to take the kids to the caravan it was during the 6 weeks holidays. We'd booked 2 weeks off, just like everyone, entitled to annual leave. Yeah. And literally the day before the 6 weeks holidays, we had about 6 or 7 members of our cleaning team resign because they had no childcare for the 6 weeks holidays.
Oh, wow.
So that just created a whole nother level of stress, anxiety, worry. We're going to let customers down. We can't let customers down. So it was a case for me I had to cancel my holiday. Ash took the kids down the caravan. He was working back and forth, but I couldn't. I had to stay with the business, and I had to pick up all the calls that people were unable to do because they left the business. So, back then I could have quite easily have said, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. No more. But then with every stage of growth, you hit another challenge, another problem, and then you're dealing with management team. And if a management team leaves the business, you're in a far, sort of more difficult situation because you've got a manager, got to recruit a manager. So there's so many times I could have quite easily just said, I'm done.
Yeah.
and then COVID comes along.
Yeah, and then COVID just decides to come along and knock everyone's socks off.
Yeah.
But
we're still here.
Absolutely. And we're gonna get into that. I've got one more question before we crack into the life of. So idols wise, so is there anybody in your life that has been really influential and you would class as an idol or a mentor, and what sort of influences have they had?
Yeah, then one of the ladies that sticks in my mind, she was one of my domestic clients. So she was one of my first. I used to do her ironing, and I started doing her cleaning, and she had a beautiful house, and her life was kind of like the life that I was trying to, sort of set up and achieve. And I think she was such an incredible woman, very successful woman, well known in the industry she was in. And I just aspired to sort of be like her. And I think she taught me so much. Back in 2012, she got me into journaling because she said when you're able to express how you're feeling and just get it on paper, that will really help you sort of just dump everything on a piece of paper. And if you leave it there, at least you can move on and then be with your thoughts that's going to better you, rather than all the negative crap, basically, that's not going to help you get to where you want to be. So, Christine Martin's the lady's name, and she's definitely one of the ladies that's inspired me hugely.
That's amazing. That's a great story as well. And that's sort of, for anyone listening, that sort of, because we've all got to draw from people. We all have, and we've all had different influences. It was funny today. I was thinking about, I was listening to a podcast, and it was asking about a coach or a teacher that has been impactful. I had 2 or 3 that really stand out, and you just remember them, don't you? They just have influence on you. You know, they've molded us.
She taught me a lesson with cleaning. So she said, when I was there doing house cleaning, she said to me after a few weeks, she said, right, I've seen how you like to make the bed. Now I'm going to show you how I like to make the bed. So, she taught me a really valuable lesson quite early on, that not everybody requires things my way. I have to adapt to how other people like things done. Yeah. So from it very early on, it was that ability that she gave me to not treat all my clients the same. You've got to make it different for your clients. And I think that's definitely helped us in the commercial sector now.
Yeah, that's a great lesson. And so look, start off, give us a story then. Tell us go back as far as you want to and talk us all about where it all started. I see, just go from the beginning and let us all know where it all started.
Okay, so I think from the moment I was born, I was a nightmare for my parents. No, just teasing, not going to go back that far. I think for me, definitely not as a child. No, not as a child. We'll leave that behind. I was 16 and I had my first child at the age of 16, and I was claiming benefits and I had absolutely nothing to my name. And I just... I moved into a rented house, and it was by far from the fairy tales that you read in school, and Cinderella lost a shoe, and all of these fairy tales that just sound amazing. And there's me living with being a mum at 16, living in my own house, paying bills that I didn't even know existed, and claiming benefits. And I think as any parent or a mother, you don't, or even a father, you don't have children, and well, certainly for me, I didn't want to have children and raise them on benefits. I wanted to teach them a lesson that if you work hard, you're able to achieve what you want to achieve. And then my second daughter came along, and at that point things were 10 times worse. I was still struggling, and I just thought enough's enough. I looked at all the skills I had. I left school, no GCSEs, no qualifications, and I looked at the skills that I had, and I thought, well, I'm a mother, I look after the house, I care for people. I was working part-time as a care assistant. And I just loved helping people. I loved raising my children. I loved being a carer, but it just never gave me the lifestyle that I wanted. And that's what I said to a few family members, that that's it, I'm gonna go self-employed, I'm gonna do people's ironing. And quite a few people laughed, like, ironing people's clothes. That's just like really not a business. And I was like, I think I could really make something of this. And I literally didn't do anything for 6 months. I just went to work, continued with benefits, and I just was like, oh my God, I'd such a strong burning desire that like that's going to change my life. I have to do it. And then I literally went to my corner shop and I handwritten sign, little tiny piece of cardboard. I think it was 20 pence for 2 weeks or 50 pence for 2 weeks. And that's when it all started, really. I was ironing people's clothes. Then I went into domestic cleaning. Ash came on board in 2010, and we've grown the business together ever since. And through every stage and every year and every month, we learn something new. Well, every day, actually, we're learning things new about our business, about our people, and about the type of business that we want to continue to aspire to be.
I bet, and that young family, it actually resonates quite a lot with me. My mum had my brother when she was 15. So and she talks to me about how, the struggles, and she actually went away to a different part of the country and my brother was at his first year in a different part in the UK, just to sort of, it was back in the times, but it was a real struggle. And my mum talks to me quite openly now about just that struggle at that point. And the only thing I can look at it when I hear the stories from my mum is it maketh the man, doesn't it? You know, because to be put in that position at that young age, you must have learned so much at that point.
Oh, I at the age of sort of 23, you know, I had kids in full-time school, and, you know, one was not far off going to comprehensive school and things. And, you know, the life lessons that I was able to learn within, you know, 10 years of leaving school to the age of 26, what most people was only just sort of getting a degree, or, you know, didn't really have much work experience, or had a job and stayed in a job. The life skills that I was able to learn, and the types of people that taught me so many lessons, you know,
I bet.
I don't think I would have had that. And, you know, people say, you know, do you wish you waited until you had your children, until you were older? Definitely not, because it's what made me. They gave me the drive to succeed. They gave me the drive to better myself. They gave me the drive to want to go out there and say, and I made a promise when I was on benefits that by the time my children are 12, I'll take them to Florida. Wow. And I literally didn't even have £5 in my bank. So let alone buying £1,500 theme park tickets. I literally didn't have, I was borrowing £10 for gas, borrowing £5 for electric off my dad, petrol and things. So, you know, and it was really tough, but yeah, it definitely shapes you to be the type of person that I am today. And yeah, that's why I don't give up. That's why I just keep going, because...
And the thing, the one word that comes to me from, you know, we haven't really met. We've met a couple of times in the past. We've met at the Fast Growth 50. Congratulations with that. And there's a few award ceremonies. I've seen you picking up things. But people see the awards and people see all that, but they don't see the grit and the determination from that level up, you know, because... And that for me is, you know, is a massive, massive positive. And I think anyone in those positions right at this moment listening to this, you know, what one lesson would you say, or what would you say to that person if they were struggling now and they were in that position of, you know, yeah, as you said, you've got that not give up attitude, but how did that come about? And what advice would you give to someone who's sort of in a similar position?
I think you've got to first of all, you've got to understand what you want. And I think understanding what you want to achieve, having that vision is so important to be able to, it's almost like having a sat nav, isn't it? You know the destination, you know where you want to go. If you want to go to London, this is the journey you need to take. You know, you might want to go and see Big Ben or whatever, but you've got that vision of what you think it's going to look like. And for me, I've always had vision boards. Well, I say always, for the last 8 to 10 years, I've had vision boards every year. I create my own vision board and I've got things on there. Some things I don't achieve, which is fine, because if my why was big enough, if I wanted it big enough, I would have committed the time and effort to achieve that. So it really is about understanding what you want to achieve. And that in itself, if that is big enough, if that reason or that thing is big enough, you will achieve it, no matter, you might have to take a different direction to get there. Yeah. But if the goal is the goal, you will 100% get there. You just might have to change a couple of routes to be able to get there. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because you learn. Yeah,
absolutely. What can I ask about your current vision board? Is there anything specific in there you're happy to share?
So, well, I did one. The last one I did last year. There was quite a few things on there. There was go to the Maldives, go on a yacht holiday for a month with a family. Create my own podcast was on there. So you know, woohoo! And then, you know, it's sort of you start working towards these things and you start seeing how it looks and what's the plan. And then all of a sudden March COVID hit and it was like, out the window. Whatever I want personally, it then almost doesn't become about you, it becomes about your people. You're responsible to look after all these people. So whilst you're creating your own goals, you have to, I had to totally rein it back in and be like, it's not about me, it's about the people. How do we protect our people and our staff? So so my vision board at the moment is wrapped up in a little envelope until COVID's kind of cleared a bit and I can get back to working on some of the goals. But ultimately at the moment, it's just the business goals and the business vision, which isn't healthy on times, because you become so engrossed in your business. You almost forget that you're a human being with heart, head, brains, emotions. You can lose that.
you come across as well as a sort of person that has that, I'm a very firm believer what you put out there. If you put positive stuff out, positive stuff will always come back, and you come across like that sort of person. That's what resonates from you, is that there's a lot of positivity in there. And you mentioned your team. Talk to me a bit about A&R's cleaning journey and how you've built that team around you.
I can remember, I think it was back in 2009, and I knew I needed to take on an employee because I was working ridiculous amount of hours. I was working from 5 a.m, getting the kids, doing a bag of ironing, getting the kids up, taking them to school, cleaning all day, picking ironing up, and then ironing all evening. The kids go to bed 7 o'clock, and I was ironing all evening until about 2 o'clock. It got to a point where my wrists were hurting so much, I was crying. And Ash was saying to me, he's like, you need to take on a member of staff. But at the time, I'm Superwoman, I can do it all. I think you have to be prepared to take on staff, but you have to be prepared to take what comes with recruiting a team. We learned a lot in the first few years of...
Can I ask you one question? There's a friend of mine, or a good friend of mine, that is now in a position where he's at the point where he feels he needs to take someone on. Talk me a bit about how you did it, what you did to approach it, and any advice for someone that sat there, their over capacity, which it sounds like you probably were, and how did you go about doing it?
In the beginning, we didn't have anything like processes, systems. We just knew we needed kind of a body, a person to be able to work. As the business has evolved and grown, we've grown within. I think the biggest thing is making sure that from day one you understand what you want that person to do, because it's really easy as an owner of a company, a director, to say, well, I need a body, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and then so you need to understand first of all what you need to let go of. And that's what I've done over the years, is every time we've grown as a business, I've actually written lists, which I still got to this day, and it helps me. So I've got lists of, what do I need to let go of that will give me the time to do what I need to be doing, to be able to push the business forward, to be able to grow. So, make a list, make it very clear, make the job description very clear. And the very last one, just put in there, and any other needs of the business, because that's a key one to having a job description. But yeah, check that one in the end. But it's really good to, for them also to understand what it is that they need to be doing to help the business get to where it needs to be, and sharing the vision, we hold every year, we have a strategy meeting, which we've only sort of done in the last 6 years. So in the early years, it was a case of just work. And then it was like, we need processes, we need systems, we need to streamline things, we need to make things better. That's come from, the sort of the latter years. But sharing your vision with your team, what does the business want to achieve? Where are we going? And actually, how do we treat our people? How do we treat our customers? Because if you look after your customers and you look after your staff, you'll create a great business.
100%. And I think you spoke about COVID as well, and I'd be interested to see your view on this. We'll come back to your first employee in the journey in a second. But the COVID bit, I'm a firm believer that it's about the people, right? You can invest in all these things now, but actually COVID has taught me anyway that if you don't look after that person, especially in the vulnerable position we're all in at the moment, you lose the whole game. What have you done through COVID, and how have you found COVID with your team?
COVID's been really challenging. There's been, for every single person, it's brought fear, anxiety, stress, mental health. We've just seen go through the roof. People who work for us, our staff, whether they're men or women, their partners might have been made redundant. So home life for them has been a lot more stressful and demanding. So it's not just what COVID's brought, it's the whole, the ripple effect that it's brought with it as well has been really difficult. One thing we did, the way we've managed through COVID is we've done regular surveys to staff. Visibility is massive. We do like monthly newsletters. We send newsletters out. So we, try to keep that team culture going as well. But one of the things we did the back end of last year, we invested in an employee assistance program. So basically, the staff get anything to do with financial support or help over the phone. They have counselling, mental health. They have counselling from cognitive behavioural therapy, trained therapists, and just being able to give them that and the reassurance that it's 100% confidential. They don't ring me up after somebody's had a session. No. It's allowed them to go and seek the help at no cost to them whatsoever. We've done that for our employees and their immediate family. So I think, that's gone down really well, and it's just showed our staff that, we actually do care. Whilst we can't offer 320 people that sit down and have a coffee and have a chat, because some of them don't want to speak to us about any problems they've got going on at home. Yeah. We've offered them a program which will fully help and assist them to get through that. So that's been a key thing. Another thing we did in March was we sent a full, in February, we sent every single member of our staff, we were going to march the Welsh coastline. So if they wanted to get involved, we did a Strava group, and it allowed people to interact and engage and see people's miles. It then, people were following each other on Strava and being very competitive and sending pictures in of walking up the mountain with their family and dog. And it was all about encouraging mental health, well-being, how much the outdoors can help with that. So we did a bit of a competition as well whilst raising money for charity. So that was a massive success because it brought people, it engaged people. So it engaged our staff to feel as if they're a part of something, even though they're not in the office working. They're external workers, they work out and about, and trying to keep that culture going as you grow is key, I think, to make them feel a part of something.
Yeah, totally. Let's talk a bit about the culture. But one question before that: what have you done yourself because it's all well and good the team, and we're all about the team, and I'm in the same boat as you. It's all about other people. What about yourself? What have you done sort of to try and make sure you've been in that great place? Because as we all know, if you're not in that great place, how can you make sure the other guys are? So what have you done? What do you do daily, or what do you do? Anything particular that really helps yourself?
In the beginning, I drank a lot of wine. I didn't hide from the fact that we were going through a global pandemic, but it was just the sheer stress that it brought. And then come June, I realized, whoa, that's not healthy. I need to do something about it. So I set myself a challenge to run 100 miles in June. So it was really focused. It gave me something to focus on. So I achieved that. A few days into it, I realized, well, actually, there's bigger things out there than me, and I decided to do it for charity. So again, I was doing it for something else. But the last sort of 7-8 weeks, I've done a PT course, which has helped me massively, I suppose, because I've had to finish work 2 days a week to go to PT. Right. Whereas I'm normally, being the last one in the office, just working relentless to just get ourselves, not just through COVID, but we've also grown quite a lot as a business as well. So dealing with that as well. But yeah, I think doing PT, doing exercise, just getting out in the outdoors and things like that has been massive for my mental health, and just helping me pull myself back out. And because I think when you're so far in your business, you don't look at it from a clear perspective. You're making decisions that could be damaging. So you do need to be able to pull yourself out of that situation and look at it almost from a bird's eye view and say, right, what is really going on? What is actually going on in my business, rather than I'm in the business, make this decision. And you make the wrong decisions, you make bad decisions. So that's not healthy for you, your team, or the business and your clients. No,
totally. And you talked about, you've mentioned culture about 5 or 6 times, which again, I love that. The fact that I can see the words on the back. And talk us through the culture of your business and how you've got to where that is with you. You mentioned 320 staff. That's a big old business now, and so congratulations with that. But so talk to me about the culture. It's obviously very important to you. How have you built it, and what is it within your company?
I think it's quite funny, actually, just answering this question this morning, corporate social responsibility. And genuinely, a few years ago, up until probably 3 years ago, when we were putting in for tenders and things, and they asked for corporate social responsibility, I genuinely didn't do any research into it. I didn't understand what it was. I think a lot of that's come from our culture's come a lot from me seeing people as people, not as numbers. Me seeing people as, people are real. They've got emotions. Trying to get that work-life balance for them, especially in our industry, is very difficult. But how do you, if they don't always have a work-life balance, how do you look after them? How do you reward them? How do you show them that they are cared for, they are appreciated. And I think that's just evolved as the years has gone on. We've always given back to fundraising. We've done events. Our staff come on award dues. We hold regular like pizza days and domino days. We'll take them. So when we grew, every time we grew by 1,000 hours, we'd go and take them all for a meal out and do things. And, birthdays, their fifth, two of our managers recently last year went through their 5th year with the company, and and it's not about materialistic things, but we did a big celebration. They had a nice Pandora bracelet, they had flowers and gin, alcohol, but and it's just all these little things. I think over time, it's not just the one big thing that you're going to give somebody a bonus, or you're going to give somebody they threaten to leave the business, and then you go, oh, by the way, we're going to offer you an extra £6,000 to stay. Sometimes those things are too late. It's about how do you do all these little things, and then that becomes part of your actual culture and how you operate. And what's really nice to see before COVID, well, even during COVID, for our cleaning team, our managers would take ice lollies. So if it's a boiling hot day and they're going to go and do an audit in the school, they'll take a box of ice lollies and say, and hand them out to the cleaning staff. And all the staff that worked throughout the global pandemic, every single member of staff, we hand delivered them a bunch of flowers. So it's just the little things that make the biggest of differences.
Yeah, and I love all them. I was just smiling with him because they're ones that they don't cost a lot of money either. They're just ones that they mean so much to a person, and I'm a firm believer of that as well. That the small but often rewards. It doesn't cost anything to say thank you. Doesn't cost anything just to say well done, and those sort of elements. I think that's where, by the sounds of it, that's where the crux of your business is, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, we in the earlier years we used to do it's called the Golden Squeegee Award. So we used to have office parties with awards and things like that. And that's just us. That's just how we operate. I think when we set up the business, we never came from corporate backgrounds. We never came from blue chip companies, which was already made, had everything, and we had to adapt. We created our business to how we wanted our business to be. So it definitely makes a difference being able to operate in this way, because it's true to us, it's true to our values, and it's true to our purpose in what we do.
Yeah, and you know what? You do it with a smile on your face, and that again goes so far. I think there's a lot to say within business within that. You should always do it. Don't get me wrong. I know it's not all smiles and dances. I know that, but there are times. But to the staff and to the business, that's what it needs to be, isn't it? There's got to be a positive outcome, and I think your business definitely resonates like that to me.
Thank you.
It's cool. So talk me about your own leadership style then. So. Being a leader within that business, obviously there's the two of you in there. How does it work between the two of you?
Great. No, it's
who takes leads on, obviously one's stronger than the other on certain things, or how does it work?
Yeah, definitely. We have our own set of skills that we acknowledge. In the early years, we didn't kind of acknowledge. We would cross over each other, but I think Ash's strongest point is finance. He runs the finance literally. Well, even the accountant says to him, he runs such a tight ship, and they laugh at him on times because he does, and that's been a massive contributing factor to us. Yeah. Surviving and getting to even 11 years in business, because if you haven't got the finances behind you, when you get one or two clients that don't pay or go bust, you haven't got a business, so if you can't pay your staff. So how he looks after the finances has been just tremendous. And I'm not good at finances, so there's definitely a sort of a divide in what we do there.
Yeah.
And I think I've always been more people orientated, more people focused, and visionary. So I understand where I want the business to be, and I set the goals of I want to achieve £1 million turnover. I want to get to 100 staff. I want 200 staff. I want the business to look like this. I want us to win this type of contract. And I think the more you're aware of what you want, it doesn't find you, but you're looking for it. It's almost like a car, isn't it? You go and buy this lovely new car, and then all of a sudden you see them everywhere, and you think, I've never seen them before. But Yeah, never seen one of these before. Now everybody's got them. I'm not happy. But it's, you know, having that vision, being able to push the business forward each time, and strategically making sure that you know what people your business needs at what time. I think that's a huge key contributing factor to not just the business growth, but to also other people hitting burnout. Yeah. Because if I overload too much work onto this individual until we get to breaking point, well, we've actually broke and we've lost a manager or we've lost a member of staff because we put too much on them. And I think it is about really, whereas Ashley then would sit down and go, well, we can't afford that. And I'd be like, well, we need to afford it. We know this is what the business needs. So, you know, we then need to take on more work to be able to afford that. So, and being husband and wife as well in business is, we used to have a glass pane window in between us for years and years and years. Right. And the last 6-7 months, I moved into a different office. So we can't see each other now. So I think that's helped.
Well, I worked with my wife for many years. So I understand the challenges. I think, you know, my wife's not here now, but she's just popped out. But I have actually had to get rid of my wife on a couple of occasions, actually. So they were always tough conversations to have.
Yeah.
But I also understand the separation between taking work from work to home. How well do you guys do that without prying too much on your home life? But has it been quite a natural process, or did you just find your way with it?
Not at all. You know, It's like one of us could be having a shower and the other one's doing something else, and I would say, you know, a huge amount of, not that our marriage is based on our business, but a huge amount of our conversations are work. And it is really difficult if you're going on a 2-hour drive in the car. It's really difficult to not talk about work because our work is our life. Our business needs to be successful for us to be successful, or for us to, you know, continue doing what we want to do. So work. Ashley has a very different approach to me. He's always been able to, from the day I met him up until today, he switches off quite easily.
Right.
Sorry?
How about you?
Not at all. I find it really hard. And I think I'm so engrossed in the business. I've loved creating the processes. I've loved learning. And if I'm not actually working, I'm learning. I'm listening to podcasts and reading books in the car. I was going down to Gowerton yesterday for work, and you know, I've got Audible books on, and that's just a huge part of who I am. And if I'm not actually working, I'm helping myself become better so I can be better at my work. So
all about you can see you're all about self-development as well. Who are you listening to at the moment then, just out of interest?
So I've got is it Rob Sharman, the 5 a.m. club. I've listened to loads of books on Audible. The Chimp Paradox was a really good book. Loved the Chimp Paradox. The Magic of Thinking Big was one of the books that changed me in terms of business. I read that book when I was on holidays in Mexico, and I used to get up every day. This was years ago, and I'd get up every day, 5 o'clock, take my book, go and have a cup of coffee while Ash and the kids were in bed. Yeah. And I read this book, and you know, highlighted all over the book and I just took so much from that book about thinking big, like how powerful it is to actually see the vision and think big. So I love Audible. Whereas Ash would quite comfortably sit down and watch a box set, or you know, go to golf and stuff. He does have that, but that's not a bad thing neither, because he allows himself to switch off, and I think that is a good thing as well. It's but we get on well. We're still running the business together. We get on well. Awesome. Most people say they could never work with a husband or wife, and you know, it is difficult, it is challenging, but we do it really well. We both have boundaries. We know when not to cross over, and I think it's about respecting each other in what we do, even though we do still have conflict in work.
Of course, but because the conflict is part and parcel of it, though, isn't it? As long as there's a healthy conflict and you're pushing each other in the business forward, then I personally think that's a healthy. It's healthy because it's about pushing it forward. You mentioned success earlier on. What is success, and what does the future look like?
What is success? So success used to be for me being able to give my children a sort of a lifestyle that I was unable to to just doing things that my kids have been able to do. And as I'm getting older, I think I'm starting to realize success to me is about having more freedom and more time.
Okay.
And I think, because you can't buy time. Time, once it's gone, it's gone. And yeah, what does the future look like? We've got plans to continue growing the business. We've got some, we just finalized some really nice tenders. So if they come on board, that will just be amazing for us. And that'll give us another sort of, another burst of growth, really, I suppose. So yeah, what does success look like? Success looks like, in the business, it looks like a perfectly orchestrated team. Somebody just, reality, that's not how it looks at all. But yeah, just having things run, just run smoothly, the team doing what they should be doing. And, that is, to me, is what I know will be successful, because they'll look after our clients, they're looking after our staff, and that is success, is people being looked after. And me personally, just time. Yeah, just having that time.
To yourself, and do you find time? Because another question I was going to ask, what happens when you do go to the Maldives? Will you be able to relax, is the question.
I'll have my laptop and I'll have all the signing stuff. Yeah, delegation and letting go has been one of my hardest things. And I've learned over the last few years that I have to let go. I have to allow people to do, and I have to inspire other people to be able to, and empower them to do what they're good at. Some of our staff, well, all of our staff, they're amazing at what they do. Yeah. So you have to let go of those strings, just like a child. You have to let go of those apron strings. You have to allow them to make mistakes, and and as long as they learn from those mistakes, then one thing I always say when we meet potential clients, which I probably don't do any justice, but I'd rather be honest than not. And one thing I always say is that as a company, we're not perfect. What I do pride ourselves on is how we put things right if things go wrong, because I know there's not one company out there that's perfect 100% of the time. But how do we, when we have got something wrong, or our managers have got something wrong, our staff have got something wrong, or we've totally messed up, how do we put that right? And how do we continue to have your business when things have gone wrong? Is how we put it right. And I think that's been sort of something that we've lived by for years and years and years. And I think people buy into that because they know there's no such thing as a perfect company. But when things go wrong, we put it right.
Yeah, and I think that's such a strong thing to say as well, is actually the admission is we're never going to get it right 100%. I've been in hospitality long enough, thinking that it can go absolutely wrong in hospitality, but it's not so much it going wrong. I totally agree with you. It's the fact that actually I know I can fix it pretty quickly, and it's that fixing there. I think that's really refreshing. So I got a question about a day in the life of. So what does a normal day look like? Because you mentioned 5 a.m. Is it an early start? I take it with the business?
So I've got a team of management now, and we're currently looking for an operations manager. Okay. So the management sit below me, and I oversee the management. But we want to try and change the way that's structured. So there's an ops in between me and the management team. Yeah. Our business runs anywhere from 3 a.m. I would say we're actually now a security 24/7. So our business is 24/7, 7 days a week.
So what does your day look like? What time do you wake up?
Now, at the moment, I've started to lie in a little bit for the first time in my whole life of running a business. I probably get up now about 6-ish, 6:30. I used to get up anywhere from 3:30, 4:30, and I was up, whether I was out working, out training staff, setting up a new site at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I now actually, I work from home a bit more now, so that's kind of giving me a bit more of a balance. Yeah. But a typical day in me, I'll get up in the morning. I'm just starting to do a bit more exercise in the morning because I let myself go, but work overtook me. Not in that. I just didn't allow, and it is really hard sometimes to give yourself the permission to take time to exercise. That, like, it's almost like I have to do this. Well, no, it's okay to take time out and not be in your business. Like that guilt feeling, if I'm not there, then, I feel guilty and things. So a typical day, I'd get up in the morning, do some exercise, come into the office or work from home. Monday and a Wednesday I now finish at 5 because I do PT outside of it's outdoors, it's all outdoor PT, so that's been a massive boost for my mental health.
Brilliant.
Other days I support management teams. I've gone to site with them, I'll go into training with them. So it's ensuring that my managers are doing a good job at managing the cleaning team. So yeah, that there's no 2 days that are the same in our industry, not at all. But yeah, we're just sort of, and it's all about keeping our clients and staff happy. And I've also got to keep my management team happy as well.
Yeah, I love that. It's like a proper whirlwind. I love it. It's just like every day's constantly having a go. I love that. That's exactly why, again, I've been in the industry for 20 odd years. It's just every day is different. And I love that within you. It's brilliant. And the energy is like I can feel the energy from you. It's great. Right. So thank you ever so much. We got 3 more questions. We've come to the end near enough. I got 3 more questions for you. The final 3 I always ask everyone. So what are the 3 non-negotiables to get into Rayner's world or to come into your world? What are the 3 non-negotiables somebody's got to have, or they've got to have to do that?
I think honesty is a big one for me. Some of my staff has been here the longest will know I've always found it hard to trust people. Trust has been a real hard thing for me to, and when people do start to build that trust, once they've done something to break that, I don't let go of it quite easily neither. So I think honesty, to be able to be in my word, honesty is massive. Second thing is they can't drain your energy. I think if you're working with somebody, or you've even got a friendship group that is constantly negative, constantly draining you, that just pulls you down. And it's almost a question of, do they hold your hand to pull you down, or do they hold your hand to raise you up? And yeah, I think they've got to be people to raise you up. And thirdly, in my world, I'd probably say more so this year than ever before. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but no bullshit. Just no bullshit, because I think we've gotten to a point in our business where people have pulled the wool over my eyes. People have kind of earned trust, and then it's hard to let these people go, and understanding who's right for the business and who's not right for the business. And these people might have been right for the business during this phase of growth, but for this next phase of growth, they might not be right. And so I think when I started back after 2020, there was a few things that I was just like, right, no bullshit anymore. That's it. We've got to make tough decisions on times, and we've got to do what's right for the business, not from a heart or a personal or an emotional point of view.
Yeah, I don't know if you've read it or not, but there's a book called Legacy, which is about the New Zealand rugby team. And they talk about no dickheads, right? Okay. So if you go into that New Zealand dressing room, if you get the chance to wear that New Zealand top, whatever happens, if you've got an ego, you're a dickhead, you ain't coming in. And I love that. The no bullshit bit is exactly like that, isn't it? There's no bullshit about. That's how it is. That's how it's going to go. And that's what we want going forward. And that's the 11 years experience or longer than that to get those decisions. And I love it. I do. I think, that's amazing.
I can't put that on our values though, could I? Right to the bottom. One of our values, one of the company's values is no bullshit. I can't put that on the end of it, but yeah.
It's not the company slogan, not this year anyway.
Yeah.
So the biggest life lesson, the next question. So the biggest life lesson you've had so far. So is there one that stands out that you think, well, that's my biggest life lesson so far?
Oh, my biggest life lesson. My biggest life lesson. I'd probably say when I don't know if it's life, it's more business. My business life lesson.
Yeah, go on. It could be business. I'll let you on that one. Go on. Anything that comes to mind with it.
I'll go with my business. My biggest life lesson. I would say my biggest life lesson would be to get to a point in your life where you're not living your life by what others think of you. You're living your life by what you think of yourself. Yeah. So you have to think of yourself as positive. And if you're not, then you need to change that, because for so many years, you can live your life by what other people think of you, by external factors, by somebody told you to do this, somebody thinks you're horrible, or, you know, or somebody thinks you're a bad mum, or so all of these slogans kind of define us, and we believe them. I think the last few years, I've really done a lot of work to be able to let go of all the labels, all of the slogans that I've pinned upon my body, and just thought, remove that, because that's not true. Remove that, that's not true. And that's probably been my biggest life lesson, is now I'm starting to live a more happy, purposeful life. And yeah, I struggle with my mental health, and I still hit peaks and troughs and dips and things, but being able to pull myself out of it far quicker now by having that mindset is the biggest life lesson I've learned.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And
letting go.
Yeah, letting go. But the one thing that came to me in mind then, you can only control the controllables.
Yeah.
So one of those bits that, you know, yes, everyone can throw things at you. And we are in that society nowadays where there's so many things being said. And again, that's another cracker for me. I love that one as well. So if you had a chance to go back to, let's say a 15-year-old Rayner, you got a chance to go back and have a chat with Rayner at 15. What sort of advice would you say? Would you give that 15-year-old?
I will tell that 15-year-old there is going to be one hell of a journey in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're going to be really scared, but don't allow the fear to control you.
I love that.
Get over the fear as quick as you can, because when you are consumed with fear, it holds you back from so many things. So I would definitely say to myself, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging, there's going to be lots of scary moments, but just move on, don't worry about it.
And then a little bonus question, would your 15-year-old self listen to that?
No, don't be. Actually, if let me have a little chat with her. Yeah, she believes me. Yeah, she believes me. If it was my parents or a teacher telling me, then absolutely not, because kids know best. But I think understanding that we all do have a younger self, and we beat ourselves up when we were younger and things. And if they did actually listen, can you imagine how much more powerful these 15, 16-year-olds would be? Because they wouldn't care what social media said about them. They wouldn't care what their friends are saying on private group chats. I got my daughter, and she just found out that a few of her so-called friends had a group chat behind her back and was like saying lots of things about her. And I just think that's just such a cruel environment. And kind of the things that I would say to my younger self, I'm saying to my daughter now. She's nearly 17, and I'm saying all of these things to her, and she's actually let go of some of these friends. She don't speak to them, and she's like, I actually don't need these people in my life, Mum. And I'm like, well done, that's good great. For you, you know. So awesome.
And then the last one, because I always give everyone an opportunity. If someone wants to reach out, someone's listened to this and gone, even from a contract point of view, or really would like to reach out to you, how is best to reach out to you?
My email address, so Rayner at arcs-cleaning.co.uk. We've got a website, A&R Cleaning, and there's loads of links for LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So yeah, we're pretty much on all the social media channels, and just Google A&R Cleaning Services or Rayner Davies. If they put in Rayner Davies, they'd have to put Rayner Davies Cleaning, because there's a Rayner Davies architect in Nottingham. Right. So if they put that in, they'll have them. If they put Rayner Davies Cleaning,
a different person.
Yeah. They'll have totally different. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I've got to be honest. Thank you ever so much for taking the time out. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up and talking through your journey. It's been an amazing journey so far, and I'm so excited to see the future as well, because I just think it's going to be something. Well, I know it is. It already is something exciting, and I'm really looking forward to watching the journey go through there. So thank you ever so much for your time, and crack on.
Thanks, John. Thank you very much.
No worries. Have a lovely day.
You too. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
I really hope you enjoyed that, because I thoroughly enjoyed being part of it. I didn't know Rayner that well going into the call or the podcast, but I got a real feel for her energy. Her work ethic is phenomenal. I think what her and her husband have done is just fantastic, but it shows whatever cards you're dealt, you can do anything you want, anything you feel like you can do. Rayner's on a journey, such an inspiration for women and business people alike. So I hope you took something from it. I really did. I loved it. Really enjoyed being part of it. And on to the next one. So episode 7, here we go. Crack on. Crack on.